If you're looking to get the most out of this lesson and access the practice files that we're going to be diving into, make sure you're running the latest version of ON1 Photo RAW 2026.4. If you're using an older version of ON1 Photo RAW or don't currently own the software, head over to our website at www.on1.com to purchase or upgrade to ON1 Photo RAW 2026.4. If you're already an ON1 Photo RAW 2026 user, simply sign into your account, go to your products and subscriptions page, and download the latest 2026.4 update. Once installed, you'll have access to the practice files and all of the latest features in that update. To access the practice files that we're going to be using for these step-by-step lessons, simply head into the all-new Home module inside of ON1 Photo RAW 2026.4. And in this bottom section, click on this Practice Files tab. And you now have access to all of these practice files that you can play around with on your own, or you can dive into with these step-by-step lessons. In this step-by-step lesson, let's head into the Home module of ON1 Photo RAW 2026.4. We'll head down into our practice files. And we're going to scroll all the way to the right here. And in this lesson, let's take a look at this macro image of this garden spider. We're going to use AI masking to not only target the spider and add in some texture and detail, but we'll also use AI masking to give the surrounding regions a subtle glow to bring in some mood and some drama. We'll also remove some noise, remove a few blemishes, and crop the image. So let's just take this image into the edit module by just double clicking it. And now we're inside of the edit module. First things first with this particular image, I want to crop it. I think there's this area surrounding the spider that we don't really need in the actual edit. So I'm going to head over to my tool well over here. And let me just actually hide this drawer for now by going down to the bottom left. We can see the spider a bit better there. So I'll head over to my tool well. This is the tool well section of Photo RAW. I'm going to click on the crop tool. You can also use C on your keyboard to grab it. I'm just going to use freeform here. And I'm just going to crop in a little bit. Just like that. So that we remove some of that unnecessary area surrounding the spider. You could always go a little bit more, a little bit less, but I think this looks pretty good. So let's just hit enter on the keyboard and we've applied our crop. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the noise and grain within the scene. If we go to our info to check out the photo, it's around 1250 ISO, so not a ton of noise and grain. But if we zoom in here, it's a little bit tough to see, but there are some areas within the photo that have some noise and grain within them. So we're going to use NoNoise AI to remove those really easily. So in our Develop tab here, I'm just going to head down into the Noise and Sharpening section. We'll open that up, and we're just going to click on NoNoise AI. It's going to zoom in so that we can see the before and after. You can always move this around. I typically like to find an area where I can see part of the subject and then also the background. And so we have the before over here on the left, the after on the right. And if I move this bar to the left and the right, you can see it's doing a really good job of just getting rid of that noise and grain within the image. So let's just get rid of that there. And I'm just going to head over to my noise and sharpening. I'm just going to leave it at its default and just choose apply. And now that we've applied our noise reduction here, we can continue on in the edit. If you need to go back and readjust that noise and sharpening, just click this adjust option and you can go back and fine tune those settings. But I think everything looks great. So let's just continue on in the edit. I'll zoom out a little bit. And the one thing I'm noticing here is there are a couple of spots around the spider. Just some dust spots in there. And so my favorite way to get rid of these is just by using the healing brush. The healing brush allows you to click on a little spot and then grab an area surrounding it to cover it up with. So to access that, we'll head over to our tool well again. I'm going to click on retouching. And the healing brush here is this little icon there. And if it's not right there, just click on this little menu and grab your healing brush there. It's Q on the keyboard. Now, big thing you want here is to leave your feathering at around the default here, or around 20 or so. And then what I like to do is just make sure this mode is set to heal. And then just increase the brush size a little bit, depending on the size of the blemish, maybe around 90 or so for this one, and click. And then you can use this green handle here to find an area to cover up this little red handled area with. And then we'll just scoot around the scene. We'll use this one there. That looks pretty good. Oh, there's another one there. And I think that's all of them. There may be more. Oh, there's maybe one right there. You don't have to be too precise about it, but it's good to get as many as you can see right out of the gate. But I think that looks pretty good. So we've cleaned up the image, essentially, removing the noise. We've removed some blemishes, and we've cropped it. Now we can move on and get a bit more creative with the photo. So the first thing we're going to do style-wise, or at least tone-wise here, we're going to go into Develop. We're going to open up our Tone and Color section. And in my camera profile menu here, I'm going to go to the Profile and choose ON1 Vivid. I really enjoy ON1 Vivid because it enhances color, contrast, and also adds in a little bit of brightness into the scene. So let's just check out our original by hitting the # key on our keyboard and after. And I'm digging it. I think it works really well. Keep in mind, we may tone down the saturation on the spider later on, but I really love what it's doing to the background here. Now let's just go into our tone. We're going to use our mid-tone slider to bring up a little bit of the brightness. I think maybe around 25 or so. The great thing about Photo RAW is everything's non-destructive. So if you need to go back after you've moved on in your editing process, you always can to fine-tune or readjust any of those settings. So I think it's working really well. Let's just check out our original now and after. And I'm digging it. Now let's go in here and we're going to target a few of the different areas within the photo. First, we're going to target the spider. Then we're going to target the areas surrounding the spider. And then we'll bring in a little bit of light into our foreground as well. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to head into the tool well here, and we're going to grab our Super Select tool. This little tool here. What Super Select allows me to do is it allows me to go in and hover over various regions of my image. I can then just target them, click on them, and then I can add in a filter or a local adjustment. Now you can hover over various areas. Sometimes it's a little bit tough when there's complex subjects. So you can always just click and drag to create a box around the subject that you want to modify. Now you can see it's covered in blue. That just means it's identified and grab that specific subject. You can then right click or secondary click, go into these different filters, or apply local adjustments. Now, if you're not seeing this flyout menu here, make sure that this Show Styles Flyout option is enabled. And that will allow you to view the preset styles for the filters and also the local adjustments. Let's add in dynamic contrast to our spider here. Oops. I don't want double exposure. We want dynamic contrast. So we're going to grab dynamic contrast and we're going to use Surreal. Now the reason I'm using Surreal is because it's quite intense, so that you can really see that before and after for the image. Keep in mind, within Photo RAW, you can always adjust the strength of anything you're adding in. So if we need to fine tune this, we can just adjust the opacity there. But you can see it's doing a really good job of just adding in texture and detail into those mini regions of that spider there. I'm going to go down into the vibrance section here, and I'm going to tone the vibrance down. And that's just going to make sure the image looks nice and natural. Made it around -20 or so. That way we're getting a lot of nice detail, but we don't have an unnatural looking spider. Maybe not -20, but maybe -10 or so. We want a little bit of that warm color there because that's what the spider looks like. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to target the area surrounding the spider. So to do that, we're going to go into our Super Select tool here, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to grab our spider, but this time up at the top, rather than using paint, we're going to use erase. So now that erase is chosen, it's going to protect this region, this spider region. It's going to apply it to the areas surrounding. So I'll right click or secondary click. Let's bring in a glow, and I'll use darker. Now the reason I'm using darker here, if I turn this off and on, is it brings in just this nice dramatic feel into the scene that we lost a little bit when we boosted our midtones in Develop. Again, you can always fine tune the opacity, but I really love what it does to the light and also the webbing within the scene. Now let's go in, I'm going to add another filter here, and let's add depth lighting. With depth lighting, we can light the areas closest to the camera. So we can essentially light the front of the spider in this bottom section of the image. By just going into depth lighting, we'll go down to brightness, and we'll just pull up on the foreground slider. Just like that. I'm just going to illuminate the spider really well and ensure that the image isn't too dark. Now that I've brightened up the image, I'm seeing there's a couple of these areas over here where I missed those blemishes. So let's just grab our healing brush again. Remember, it's just over here in our tool well, and we'll just take care of these little regions. And I think everything else looks pretty good. Okay. Oh, there's one right there. So now with this image, it looks pretty much good to go for my particular style. But if you wanted to, you could always modify the temperature or add in a stylistic filter of your choice. So if this image is looking a little bit too warm for your liking, you could go back into Develop, and you can modify the temperature a bit to cool it down. Or if you wanted to add a stylistic filter, you could go back into Effects, add a filter, and you could add in maybe a LUTs filter or something that's going to bring in a unique feel into that image that you're adjusting. Now, I really like it just how it is. I will say I do actually like it with it cooled down a little bit, so I'm glad I cooled that down there. But with Photo RAW, and especially effects, the world is your oyster, so feel free to play around with this image and have fun with it and see what you can creatively come up with on your own editing workflow. But I do want to show you this one last thing, because if we hit the backslash key on our keyboard, I think we're pretty much good to go as far as the editing goes for this image. So now let me show you how to quickly export this if you're trying to get this onto social media or send out to your family and friends. So once we're done with the image, we're just going to head down into the bottom right. We're going to click on Export here. It's going to pull up our export drawer or export dialog. Now in the export options here, the first thing is naming. So I'm just going to name this Spider Detail Pop Glow After. Now if you're wanting to, you could add in tokens. These tokens can be sequences, date and time, different file names. You could be the metadata, so certain camera info, things like that. But because I'm only exporting one image here, I'm just going to use this as is. Now for my destination option here for folder, I like to use Ask when exporting, so that whenever I click on export, it opens up my computer's Finder or Navigator, and I can simply pick a folder then and there. But there's these options as well. Now, because we're sharing this to social media, or we're just trying to get this out to people we know, one of the most common file types in the world is JPEG. So in our file type menu, I'm going to make sure I have JPEG selected. I'm going to leave it at a nice 100 quality there. Now for resizing, because again, we're exporting this to social media, we don't need a really large file. We could just use this resize to long edge option and just go in here and type in 1920, which is a really nice size for exporting it to social media. It maintains the quality and it's a perfect fit for screens that you're viewing Instagram, Facebook, and things like that on. So we've got our settings there to go. Now we just go down, click export. I can find where I want to export this into, and then I can send that off to my friends or family or post it onto social media. Thanks so much for watching this step-by-step lesson. I'll see you in the next one.